Welcome. This is son Maurice from the franchise here. Welcome back. We had Boston welcoming Dallas into their hometown, and they took it to them. It was a spanking. It was a spanking the entire time at Boston. Kristaps Porzingis put on his show. Him and Jaylen Brown being the defensive duo that we didn't know that they were. Even Jason Tatum not playing well, and the Celtics still managed to pull out a win, limiting LUKA Doncic to only 1 assist and Kyrie Irving to only 12 points on 6 for 19 shooting. That's horrible, and that's not how you want to start off going to Boston. You know how that crowd is. You know how their fans get. You know they don't want to hear any talk about Mavs in 6, Mavs in 7 right now with the way that Boston put their foot down on their home court, just like Kyrie did on their logo. Look, if I'm Boston, I love what I saw from Kristaps Porzingis. I want to see it more. They're exposing the lob threat that LUKA Doncic has been abusing. They're taking away his corner shooting. Jaylen Brown is playing lockdown defense, even on LUKA during the first half. He tried to fight back in the third quarter, and of course, you know LUKA does his thing. Let's look at what LUKA put up on the stat sheet. He had 30 and 10 rebounds. Of course, you don't expect anything less from LUKA Doncic, but what you do expect is you expect somebody who is known as a triple-double machine in the NBA community. You know him as somebody who's going to go out there, get their triple-double, and even if they don't pick up the win, you know he left it all on the court. However, he could not do that, only having 1 assist. Again, taking away his lob, taking away the people who he can lob the ball to, by having Kristaps Porzingis on the court, on top of defending the corner so well. This is showing the depth. This is depth that is showing, and we saw Dallas abuse their depth in terms of how they played against the Timberwolves and whatnot. We also saw the Celtics struggle against teams that we felt like they should have been beating because of the depth. And now we see when they're face to face with adversity, they're face to face with the best team in the West this season, clearly. By the playoffs. The playoffs show you who the real best team is. So when they go against the best team in the West and they're able to do what they did on their home court, that's exactly what you want. Now, let's talk about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving had not only had an off night, but he was being guarded particularly well. At Jaylen Brown, again, having 9 blocks. I didn't even have his steals put down, but I think he had like around 3-4 steals. Him being a defensive presence on the wing, along when you have a Drew Holiday and a Derek White, and you have Kristaps Porzingis doing what he does in the paint. When you have all these guys working together in unison, it is so hard to stop the Celtics. And again, we saw debatably a top 2, top 1 offensive player in the game right now. LUKA Doncic struggled in the first half. He was able to come back in unstoppable fashion in the third quarter. However, it was too late by the time they hit the fourth, with Boston again running away. They made it an 8-point game, and Boston saw that. They took the ball from them and said, this is our court, this is our time, and let's talk about it. Because what Dallas now has to do is they have to find some way to bring Kristaps Porzingis from that. And of course, the defensive strategists and minds that we have on the Boston Celtics, we understand that it's going to be hard to do that. The Mavericks are going to have to do a lot of work to take Kristaps Porzingis outside the paint, because the Celtics are going to work on, and what they've been doing is stopping those switches from Porzingis to get on LUKA Doncic. Once that started happening in the third quarter, of course they adjusted in the fourth, but once that started happening in the third quarter, what happened? LUKA Doncic went out, and I believe he scored like 19. He outscored the entire Celtics in the first few minutes of that third quarter. Look, that can't afford to happen if you're Boston. And you saw a glimpse of what LUKA Doncic is capable of. And now if you're Boston, you're saying, okay, we got to keep up this game plan right here. We have to keep up this from happening. We have to keep on doing what we've been doing. We have to keep on doing what we've been doing to prevent that from happening. And what happened with Kyrie Irving, part of it was just Kyrie Irving missing shots. Kyrie Irving just had a bad game. That's part of it. Also part of it is that they're taking away certain spots. Kyrie's not able to get into the lane as easily because you got Kristaps Porzingis sitting right there in the paint waiting for him. LUKA Doncic isn't able to have a big come up on his side and be able to put up a floater or whatnot because you got Kristaps Porzingis in that paint. I told people all around me that the size disadvantage is going to be effective for the Mavericks. It was going to be. And now we're seeing it. Because if Kristaps Porzingis is healthy, Celtics might win this thing in 5, maybe 6. However, if Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving can be the offensive minds and duos that we know them to be, they can push this to a Game 7 and potentially take this series. But it's going to take a lot of work from Kyrie and Luka to put their minds together and say, hey, this is what didn't work this game. How can we adjust? And how can we execute? And being able to take that mind from the film room and put it out on the court is exactly what you need, especially from somebody who's been there, done that, and won a ring in Kyrie Irving. Now, when it comes to the likes of Jason Tatum doesn't have, he has an excuse in terms of his performance only because Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis are picking up the slack and playing so good. If Kristaps Porzingis was not the second best player on the court, because I believe Jaylen Brown was the best player on the court that last game, if Jason Tatum is not a top 2 player on that court for Boston and they win a ring, it still knocks down Jason Tatum. The reason why is because he's put these standards on himself and we've put this standard on him that you have to at least be a top 2 player on that court for you to win a ring. Now, if he isn't and he underperforms in the finals and wins, what type of conversations are we having about Jason Tatum? Because will be the second time that he underperforms in the finals, and even if he wins and he doesn't win Finals MVP, and it's between Kristaps Porzingis or Jaylen Brown, we're still going to be looking at Jason Tatum as if we don't know if you're the best player on the team. And you might be getting all these brand deals and whatnot, and you might be the face of the Celtics, but are you the best player on the Celtics? If he's only worried about being the face of the Celtics, that's fine. But from the looks of it, from the way I view Jason Tatum and the way that I think we view Jason Tatum, the way Jason Tatum views Jason Tatum, we don't see him as a secondary player on the championship team. We see him as at the least a 1B to a 1A on the championship team. And the performance he had last night, he cannot repeat. Because if Jason Tatum goes off that night, which he should have, we're having a completely different conversation. We're talking about a sweep in the finals. But we still have to see Jason Tatum step up. That's it. Besides that, LUKA has to be able to make plays without having people open in the corner. He has to be able to create shots for other people throughout this final run. We know that he's capable of it. But again, same thing with Jason Tatum. Just because you are capable of something doesn't mean you do it all the time. So we got to see what Luka Doncic does in that regard. With that being said, that's going to be the end of what we got going on today. We're going to get prepared for some other stuff we're going to talk about. This has been The Franchise. We'll see y'all soon.